Right, I'm very excited to announce an amazing panel now, guys, and I've known these two for quite a while. First up, lead singer of Blue Nation, Neil Murdoch, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, you're back after the first episode.
Yes, I've been welcomed back. I don't know if that means it's a good job or you had no other guests.
We just had no one else, yeah,
I thought
that was it.
The case. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And second in line, Lee Hunt. Now, I've known you quite a while as well. One of the biggest gaming gurus I've ever known.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you here, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be here, I must say.
Is this a bit different from your Twitch channels?
It is a little bit different from Twitch, yeah. There's a lot more lights around. They're blinding me.
Oh, good. That's
but the sofa's comfy, you know.
Oh, well, we'll try and do something.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. The tea was good as well.
Just a bit of a backstory, actually, on Lee before we get into this. I used to work with Lee quite a while back at gaming festivals and stuff like that. Now, we work in Gadget Show. Was it Gadget Show Live?
If it's a story I'm thinking,
do you know where this is going?
I think I've got an idea where this is going.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're in the NEC, massive, huge venue in Birmingham, and Lee's quite savvy on Guitar Hero, aren't you?
I have my moments.
Yeah. So he takes to the back of this stand on the Guitar Hero stand at the NEC, and starts just playing the hardest song at the hardest difficulty.
I think it was.
And all of a sudden, everyone in the NEC stopping to watch Lee Hunt play Guitar Hero. And he's made a bit of a crowd, about 200 people, I reckon.
I reckon it was.
Was that your Glastonbury then?
That was my moment, you know?
It was surreal, and it's the main memory I have of you, Lee.
There you go. Well, that's. I'm sure there's a lot of people with a lot worse memories, so that's a good one. Yeah, I'm going to give you that one. That's good. That's good.
Right, so we're talking today, guys. Pretty exciting. A lot of speculation on here, but also some facts. Shooters, what's happening, where they're going, what next? The first one I want to talk about, actually, because it popped up in the news quite recently, Battlefield 5. Rumoured by a German game site that it could be set in World War One.
Yeah, they took it down there, didn't they? It was up there, but they got a sneaky screen grab of it, and then it was kind of down. But how's that going to work, though?
I'm not sure. I mean, Battlefield 4 was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the thing I find about Battlefield is there's so much focus on the vehicles.
Yeah. Which makes me question, how would that work in the World War One scene? Because there weren't that many heavy style vehicles back then. 1914 to 1918, you had kind of just big, huge tanks, armoured cars, but that was pretty much it.
See, I was going to say that marked that my history is not great, but did the Germans have tanks? Who had tanks? Because I thought it was.
I've got it written down here.
Oh, right, there you go. I didn't look at that beforehand.
That would be interesting to see what they are going to do with a World War One setting.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll concentrate on vehicles? Obviously, trench warfare back then as well. So it was all in the trenches, wasn't it?
It was, and from DICE's last game, Star Wars Battlefront, there's a lot of trenches on that, and you can see kind of almost where that's going with it. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
I think the thing for me is you look at Battlefield Hardline, which admittedly DICE didn't fully develop, but for me that lacked vehicles, and they were missing from that game.
Yeah,
the maps
definitely.
Were very small, and
I think it kind of felt like it was Call of Duty with a Battlefield skin, more or less. Battlefield Hardline. It was fun for a couple of weeks, but
didn't hold me. Didn't grab me like the other ones.
I think once you got into Battlefield 4, it sucked you in. And for me,
time.
that's the game that you play with your friends. That's the game that's when you come up against a team that's working together. You're in real trouble.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas Hardline never really felt like that.
No, it was kind of just spraying bullets everywhere and seeing who came through
I quite
the door.
like that though. I quite like the individual of just running around going nuts on it. When you start getting, I'm that horrible person who doesn't pay attention to what the team are doing. So I'm that guy.
You'd be a nightmare to play.
I can take on this, and I don't. And I just annoy all the team because they're just like, why did you do that? And I'm like, I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry this happened.
I can imagine you just sitting there with a shotgun, just waiting for someone to come
It's the lead singer syndrome, isn't it? I think I'm the best, so I just fly around, trying to do everything. So,
to be fair, I'm a Twitch streamer, so for me it's kind of being the showman.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of like, I want to be the guy that's flying the plane.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that's, driving the tank. I want to be the guy getting the multi-kills. Unfortunately, my ability doesn't let me do that. So I end up looking like somebody not very good.
So, yes, we brought egotistical people to the show
that's
today.
it, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Right, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, it's, I think, the whole feeling of Battlefield has kind of worn out a little bit now.
Yeah.
Bad Company 2 for me is still my favourite all-time shooter ever.
Absolutely.
And it kind of made me question, I think it was last year or the year before, I can't remember. One of the EA bosses came out and said, I don't understand why people are asking for Bad Company 3. Because it was your best frigging game, that's why.
Absolutely.
I
think there's a lot of people that fell in love with first-person shooters with Bad Company 2.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was one of those games because it was... For me, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
There was so much content to it.
Oh,
yeah.
There
was so much variety in it. It just worked on every level because you had a fantastic single-player campaign. And it was a fantastic
No, it
single
was.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
very few of the shooters where I've actually played the single player and thought I could play that again.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's what we said earlier, wasn't it? It's one of those ones you go back to.
Yeah,
and
every time.
there's not many, that we were talking, was it Modern Warfare 2 we were talking about
Yeah,
as well?
yeah,
definitely.
That you go back to.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Once you've done the campaign sometimes, like, well, I kind of know, or, all right, I can increase the difficulty levels, but I kind of know where this is going.
Yeah.
But those two, for me, or especially Bad Company, I went back to it.
Yeah.
And I did it again.
But it's just, it feels to me like single-player campaigns, especially on first-person shooters nowadays, it was almost like every single one is trying to be a Michael Bay action movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
literally,
brains off Saturday night popcorn entertainment. How many set pieces can we put you through?
Yeah.
How many explosions can we make you just about?
literally.
How good can we make this lead up to the
Yeah,
actual scene?
Yeah.
How can we try and baffle you with a plot twist that you're going to see coming anyway?
Literally.
It just lacked everything from the sort of Bad Company 2 days. And we were talking about the Vietnam expansion for Bad
Well,
Company.
this is it, I mean, the things with shooters back then as well. Say back then, it wasn't even that long ago, but...
It wasn't.
I thought like it was the 60s.
Yeah.
Well, we're my day.
We're old,
when we were playing Bad Company 2. It's just like...
God, I'm only 28 and I'm sounding 50 already, right? Shooters back then as well, the likes of Modern Warfare, they weren't charging you microtransactions or, 40 quid for more maps and more weapons. Bad Company 2 come with Vietnam, which felt like an entirely different game, and it was a tenner.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I spent so many hours on that.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Just riding up the hill to Ride of the Valkyrie in the tank.
That's right, yeah.
do you-
Who
like-
forgets that? I mean, that's one of
man.
those moments.
That you just remember.
You do, yeah.
Do you think there's a bit of greed that's kind of seeped into this then with these games because they know people love these games and obviously the add-ons and all that. Do
Yeah.
you think it's now getting to that
I
stage
think
where
that's
people
what
are
it
starting
is.
to wake up a little bit about it maybe? Or is it
could-
will they always be there? Will people always pay for them and stuff? Because I know probably I will, but I'm a little bit reluctant these days.
Yeah, I think you see more of it moving towards things like season passes and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, for some people, they're the devil. They
Yeah.
really are, because
Yeah,
it's just,
no.
everyone's so kind of anti-publishers. And you have to remember that as much as we as gamers, we're the end user, we're the guys that these products are made for. You have to remember from the other side of it, it's a business.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
got to make money.
Yeah.
These guys have to make
No,
money. They have to
definitely,
keep their
totally
lights
agree.
on.
But
But sometimes there's
a balancing act, isn't there?
There really is, and some of the microtransactions you see in games nowadays are just
Well, it's
terrifying.
Yeah, I read an article actually. I think it was in Forbes magazine, and it was after the release of Street Fighter V, because we know how good that turned out. Bringing out a demo at 50 quid.
Sit on the fence. I don't think you've said how you really feel about it.
I'm kind of getting. I'm in two minds as to whether you like this or not.
No, well, do you know what? In the review, I actually gave it an 8 because I thought the content that was there was really good. You know, it was very well done. But going back to the article, they said, look, the problem is people are buying the season passes. Reviewers are reviewing the game before it's come out, so they're not testing the servers, they're not testing the content, and it is us in general as a problem in a sense, I guess. But then again, we're buying that product, so
there's nothing worse than when you get it and you're so stoked about the game and stuff, and the servers just don't let you in. I mean, the amount of times I just lose interest.
Absolutely. But
Battlefield
to
4.
Back, Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
Can we all remember the launch of Battlefield 4?
What was it, about 3 or 4 months until they fixed the servers on that?
It lost me, to be fair. I was gone by that time. I mean, my attention span's like a gnat anyway. But to be fair, 3 or 4 months, I'm like, I've gone. I'm out somewhere else.
I think I got rid of it first time round, because I mean, I remember even playing the single player campaign and having problems with that. And then literally it's like, I'd give up with this. And I think I went back to it maybe 6 months after it came out, once everybody sort of said, it's fixed now and it's kind of playable. But of course, by that point, you're 6 months behind the people that are good at it. And you're kind of learning the game against people that have been playing it for that amount of time.
Yes.
And sort of bearing
you kind of
with
lose it, don't you, a little bit? Because you're like, right, well, every time I'm just going to get killed because you guys have been playing
That's my world anyway, because I'm just going running around like a headless chicken anyway. And then when I start learning the game, I'm like, maybe I should be a bit more tactical doing this as well. But there's still a part of me, one of it, where I just like, I'm the guy who just runs off as well. And I'm like, I've got to really rein that in. But
you need to play Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Literally.
Let's be honest.
And talking of tactical, I guess to end on the Battlefield 5 sort of rumours, if it is set in World War One, it would have to be more tactical than the others. In trench warfare, obviously it's going to be bolt action, rifles, scopes, very small scopes on snipers, grenades, dynamite. So I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited if it is going to be that, but it's also going to be interesting to see the vehicle side and what they're going to do.
I think so. I mean, to be honest, World War II as a genre in video games has been done so much, and World War One
hasn't really.
So I think there's scope to do something. But at the same time, Battlefield has always
not
been
a whole game though. This is what I'm struggling with. The only thing I'm thinking is like the flashbacks or something like that, where there's someone or an old sergeant or I don't know what, but it goes back to that for part of the game and then comes back to. I mean. And maybe it's just a total smokescreen that the World War One thing is not going to be.
We all remember Metal Gear Solid 2. That whole game was a tanker, which was kind of like an hour at the start, and then it was like this whole new character on this oil rig.
Totally different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm hoping we see something at E3.
Definitely.
Potentially earlier, knowing EA.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. The next one on the list that I've got down here, which I know you're pretty excited about. Infinity Ward, they're making the next Call of Duty.
Yeah.
No, this goes right back, and you've been streaming Modern Warfare lately quite a lot, haven't you?
I have. Modern Warfare 2. Yeah.
Which is still, right up there with probably the last Call of Duty that I enjoyed. Fully enjoyed, anyway. Yeah,
I think the thing that I found with Twitch and streaming Modern Warfare 2 lately is the amount, the size of the community still. It's so much fun, and the amount of people that join my channel that want to join my game, and it's kind of everybody remembers it. And it's for me that I'd agree with you in terms of the multiplayer. It was the pinnacle, I think.
Yeah,
it's now passed over into that. Oh, do you remember when? Oh, do you remember this? Do you remember this bit? Or do you remember this map? Or
it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, no, and it's I mean, we've got the retro games, all that kind of stuff. But that one for me. You're bang on. The pinnacle. I remember when I first got to that bit in there, and I remember when I was there, and I remember I was like, no way.
Running around the favela.
That's it. There's a high rise and terminal and all those awesome levels. But everybody remembers the first time either they got or they saw someone get a nuke in the multiplayer.
It's kind of like, oh, he's got a nuke. No way, run.
Yes, he's like, where do I go? What do I do?
Hide in the plane. Oh no.
But I mean, I've had so much fun with Modern Warfare 2. And it's seriously, it's one of those games that you go back to, and it's literally like riding a bike. You never forget those maps because they're just so many iconic maps. And
they're really dynamic in ways as well. You go around the favela. You can go on the roofs. You can go in
exactly.
In the rooms and around and the streets. It's amazing.
I think the great thing with Modern Warfare 2 is it had the customization spot on because it wasn't overly complicated in terms of leveling up guns and swapping this perk for that perk or anything like that. But at the same time, there was enough customization that you could have a totally unique class, different to everybody else. And it was, you had customizable kill streaks and your player cards and your emblems. It was the right amount of customization without it then going almost...
Here's 60 weapons and 40 customization and 200
skins and esports. All these stats and your heat maps, and it's kind of like, I don't want to know that. I just want to play a game.
Play.
It's kind of got too technical for me on that kind of side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, for Modern Warfare 2, that's what I loved about it. I can go, right, this, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I find myself looking at that stuff, the heat maps and stuff, not knowing what I'm looking at, but thinking, I need this. I don't know that I need this, because I'm sitting there going, just give me the machine, that one, yeah, cool, fine, right, and then I'm good. Because, I don't like that stuff, but I find myself using it and trying to dissect it. And trying to think, this is going to help me. And then I run off and get killed.
I think the problem I've got with the newer Call of Duty games, especially the last couple of years, it's almost feeling like Halo now. It's
gone to the future.
It's almost like Titanfall without the Titans.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't get me started on Titanfall.
That's coming up in a
Right,
we've gone from ego psychics because we can
that's
see
it. There we go.
Yeah.
You need to turn those over so we can see. But no, there's all this wall running and double jumping and like people jumping out the way of grenades and vertical combat, and it's just for me, if Infinity Ward can do anything with Call of Duty, do you know what I'd really want is an HD remaster of Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3.
I was going to ask you about that.
It
would be amazing. It would be incredible.
I think it's fair to say, and I don't think there's a viewer that's watching this would disagree, that Call of Duty 4, the first Modern Warfare, had the best single-player campaign pretty much of any first-person shooter.
Oh, no, I'd have to go.
It really was unbelievable. Modern Warfare 2, for me, is the best COD multiplayer. And Modern Warfare 3 kind of had... Everything was good about it.
It had a bit of both,
It had a great story. It had a great multiplayer.
It's a hard follow-up, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like the sequel to a film, isn't it? You're sitting there going, the first one was good, or the second one in this case, but then the third one, you're like, oh, you're not as good as the last one, are you? Which is hard.
It's true, but I mean, I've wondered about the backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, because there's no Call of Duties on there, and it's kind of like almost like Activision are looking at it, sort of thinking, well, if we just made it so that people could play the 360 versions, nobody would buy an HD. And they've never appeared. And it's kind of, we've had the conversation on Twitch in the last couple of weeks so many times with people saying, when do you think Black Ops 1 is going to become available? When do you think Modern Warfare 2 is going to become available as back compatibility?
Well, that's it. I mean, I think you're right. I think there's so many people there that would love to see Modern Warfare 1, 2 and 3 come to, HD remaster on Xbox, PS4, PC. It'd be... I'd definitely buy that, because I haven't enjoyed Call of Duty since, probably Modern Warfare 2. I think, the last one Infinity Ward did was Ghosts.
That's right, yeah.
So...
Did you hear that tone in his voice there?
It's kind of, I remember seeing...
It disappointed me.
I've got to be honest, I remember seeing a video on YouTube of somebody who had taken kind of the end of game scene from, I think it was Modern Warfare 2, and the start of Ghosts, and they kind of mapped them together, and it was literally... copy and paste the animations as to how they carried him, put his arm around him, and walked into the helicopter. And it was just, for me, it was. I get it was a single player campaign, and I get that's no longer the focus of Call of Duty. But
at the same time, you're building a product, that you want to sell, and you want people to enjoy as much as the last one.
And the other thing that I've just got to throw in about Modern Warfare 2, Spec Ops.
Oh yeah,
I mean, come on, that was just
Spec
amazing.
Ops, wow, forgot about that.
As good as Zombies is, because we all like zombies, but Spec Ops for me, that was just so tactical.
You would play it again and again to get those stars.
Trying to get that. I remember one level on the oil rig with 10 juggernauts coming at you. And it was just, you had to work together, the pair of you, like so tactically to try and do that. It was just, for me, Spec. I miss Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops.
It's proper, isn't it? This is an emotional thing.
There's a love here for it.
He's getting emotional.
If Modern Warfare 2 was a woman, I'd marry her.
Well, there you go. You've heard it here first.
That's the quote I need.
There you go. But if Ghost was a woman, I'd divorce her.
I wouldn't buy her a drink.
So if we had to pin it down, Infinity Ward. So what would it be like from the next Call of Duty?
I'd like an end to the future. I'd like an end to the wall running and the double jumping. I'd like it to go back to its roots. I'd love to see another World War II game, because we haven't had a World War II shooter for a long time. Because you even think Medal of Honor, when that was redone, that's kind of rebooted. That was all kind of Afghanistan set in the current era. We haven't had a good World War II shooter
for a long time.
Probably World at War.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
World at War. It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
World
yeah.
at War.
It would have been.
Which, again, I thought was absolutely incredible. World at War was
that-
really good.
That definitely.
It's so emotive, and there's so much emotion in that anyway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think because it's history and because it's further back than the Afghan wars and all that kind of stuff, you kind of get lost in it with the with the intros and all that kind of stuff. And this is going to sound really lame, but you feel like you're involved in it, even though it didn't happen in your time.
Yeah,
and that's
totally
what
agree,
made me love it, and that's what made me want to go. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Simplify it. Let's go back to what was good about it.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate
Correct.
it. And again, I mean, how I don't get killed is I just don't jump around. Because everyone's just jumping around, running up.
That's right.
Well, that's it.
Everyone's forgotten that you can walk
You
and
can
run.
walk on the floor.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Spoiler.
If people land, I just pick them off. It's
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to
You
get
know,
killed
who
to death
who
now.
needs to run on a wall when you can walk on the floor, you know?
Right. That's right.
Invention of the magic centuries right there. So, next one lined up is the rumoured return of Medal of Honor. Oh dear.
Oh my God, we're psychic again.
Look how we do this. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously, what was the last? Was it Warfighter? Was the last one, which got 55 on Metacritic.
Yeah, I think
Just lost its way.
for me,
Yeah.
it did.
it
really did.
I'm out of love with it. It's lost its way. It's gonna have to be. If it is, it's gonna have to be something good for me to get interested in.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. I mean, the first time it came back, I actually really enjoyed it. The whole
I did.
Afghan scene, it was actually quite good, and online it was actually quite good.
It wasn't bad, but if I remember rightly, it was DICE that did the
That
reboot
did
of Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
I mean, Medal of Honor Warfighter, the only thing that I can remember about that game was there was a Linkin Park song at the end credits.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I can't remember if it was
I'd even
Castle
put
of
that
Glass
out
or
of my
something,
memory as
but
well, but yeah.
seriously, that's the only thing. That
Yeah.
I think it might have been the Catalyst, actually. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that I can remember about that game.
It wasn't
I obviously
very memorable
finished
at all.
But it's just kind of. I think again that's one of those. It's that the whole genre of shooters is so full at the moment.
Yeah.
Medal of Honor, it had its day on place, unlike PS1 and the original Xbox
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that, and even the GameCube.
Frontlines.
Frontline and Rising Sun and things. I think it's got to do something incredibly special in order to and
But
different.
if they do something incredibly special, I've got a sneaky feeling they're going to overcomplicate it, and we'll all be having this conversation again.
Correct.
Yeah,
in
exactly,
6 months to a year or whenever it's coming out or whatever, and go, oh, why didn't this go simple?
Yeah.
You know, but we're all sitting there going, I'd love something special, but it's got to be really special.
Yeah, that's really true. And you look at the shooter field in general. It's how are they going to? If they wanted to make it this massive, open world game, it's got to go up against things like Ghost Recon, and it's got to go up. If they want to do this massive online campaign game, it's got to go up against the Division. It's got to go up against Destiny.
There's a lot to
so
challenge, isn't there?
challenge
And
out
again, you've got the Battlefields and the Call of Duties and your Titanfalls. There's a lot coming out. And
Sorry, you said the T word. It's
I'm
feeling the emotion here.
Yeah, there is. Trust me.
It's coming up very shortly
wait.
for you. So next up, I'll leave it till last then. Next up, the announced the final announcement rather than all the teases of Destiny 2 is now confirmed. That it's happening.
Look at the intake of breath we both just took.
Yeah,
Didn't we?
Look,
We're on the same page.
I know it is. This is a bit frightening.
yeah. When it was originally announced, I remember watching the trailer. I was like, okay, it looks interesting, but that was about it.
See, I was more sold than that. When I saw the trailers and stuff like that, I was hooked. I was thinking, this is going to be incredible. It had the whole music thing in there. It had Led Zeppelin, all that kind of stuff in there, and I was like, I'm sold. I'm in.
Yeah.
They're going to marry this perfectly.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
Did.
Yeah, it was just
Then
like,
it came out.
And then it came out, and I was just.
Yeah.
And I think probably I built it up so much myself that I'm trying to help the game here. I built it up so much that I was disappointed. But then when I spoke to other people, they were the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
I know a few religious players, but I just don't get it.
I think that's the thing. So my brother is a couple of years older than me, and he is obsessed with Destiny. He adores it. Now, he's spent a year trying to convince me to
play it,
take the
get
plunge
in
and
it.
play Destiny.
Yeah.
And he finally convinced me, probably 6 weeks ago, to give Destiny a bash. And it's just not working for me.
No.
I can't really put my finger on what I don't like about Destiny, but for me, it's the gunplay mechanics are solid enough without being great.
Yeah.
I think the graphics are pretty enough without being beautiful. I think the gameplay is kind of okay enough without being special. I think the biggest thing for me with Destiny is just feels like a chore. playing that game. It's just the endless grind of doing the same thing.
Well, that's it. Each mission feels like the last.
It does. You follow a white blob on your mini-map. You go there, you deploy your ghost.
Yeah.
You then defend whatever it is you're supposed to be defending, and then it just takes you back into orbit.
Please tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, totally. But you sit there. How I really feel, to be honest, playing it is bored and wanting to fall asleep in the loading screens. I'm sorry, but they are so long.
Someone said to me,
they
clunky. And I was like, that's quite for not the graphics, not physically, because it just felt a bit clunky. And they're doing the same thing repetitive. I just thought, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
But it was so.
What do you think though they could do differently in Destiny 2?
I think there's some really interesting things that Bungie are doing at the moment. So I know they've got in touch with a lot of their lapsed players and asked them directly, why are you not playing Destiny anymore? Yeah. And for me, as a developer, I think that's a really positive step to take.
Yeah, wasn't it on Twitter or something? Are you bored and why? Or something like that, wasn't it? The lead developer.
They sent the emails to a lot of players who had registered through the Bungie net or whatever the site was. Because I remember my brother showing me the email saying, because he did laps for a little bit. I think, they did the Taken King expansion. Everybody kind of was back in love with Destiny for a bit, and then a lot of the community kind of got a little bit irate about the fact there's just not enough content at the moment.
Well, that's it. And the Taken King wasn't as big as it was supposed to be either, was it?
It's kind of this whole roadmap for Destiny seems to be a little bit skew-whiffed, and they seem to be annoying some of their core players. I think Destiny 2, for me, has got to... For a start, I don't want a game that's a chore to play. I think there's so many games that are competing for our wallets, but also our time. And to invest the amount of time that you need to invest in Destiny, it needs to be something that is worth investing in. And for me, an endless grind doing the same things for the faint, distant promise of some mythical reward you may or may not get after doing it 100 times isn't enough of an incentive for me to play.
To keep playing.
The fear for me is that they've gone out there and said, we want your feedback. I agree. Really bold move. I really like it. But what if they do the same thing again?
Yeah. Well,
they're going to lose everything.
No,
they're going to lose everyone. Because they've gone out and said, what's wrong with it? If they don't listen to that feedback and don't listen to those people that have lapsed, we're all going to go, all right, let's try it. Because we're all going to try it, let's be honest.
We're
all going to have a go at it, But then we come back and goes, oh yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I think, for me, the story in Destiny was a complete non-entity.
I didn't get it.
They need to do something with that.
Definitely.
It's just, again, they need to listen to what that community is telling them, because that community is far more qualified than us to tell Bungie what. But at the same time, I think if you'd actually put trust in a developer, in any studio to do that, Bungie is one of those ones that you'd actually say,
completely.
You guys, I trust you guys to deliver that. So I really do hope they listen.
I mean, in their fiscal report, they announced, we're working on Destiny 2, and there's another Taken King style add-on coming out in a few months, and that Destiny 2 is going to be out before April next year. So it's got to have been in development since number one. You would have thought,
you'd assume,
so it's got to be interesting. I really can't get my head around what they're going to do different. Obviously, there's got to be more story element to it because it just didn't exist, and different challenges and.
I think part of the problem is that so for the core community that have played it for a long time, they're going to want to be able to carry their characters over, their classes over, their levels over, their guns over, their all their unlocks and things like that. So you can't change the core mechanics of that game too much. Because you've got to have a system implemented where it can naturally carry over. Otherwise, you're really going to annoy your community.
Well, you could then annoy the people that are still in love with it, like your brother, for example.
Absolutely.
Because if you change it too much, go the other way.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
You've got to get the new people, the new fans of it. Have got to outweigh the people that already love it.
That's right.
Yeah. So put them like Halo Reach, maybe, if they do something like that again.
Absolutely.
Next one.
All right, come on, let's go. Come on.
TitanFall 2. So
I'm not going first. I'll let you go, and then I'll steamroller in. Yeah.
Obviously, it's coming to all platforms this time round. Also announced that there's no microtransactions, which is good for Sony fans as well, considering it's the first time it's coming to PlayStation. And there's only going to be a couple of DLC packs, apparently. What can they do differently? I mean, it's essentially you in a robot in streets, firing firing at each other.
He's now reading my mind.
I'm going to defend.
Oh, okay, all right.
So this is going to This is the first argument as a couple we're going to have.
This is it. Yeah, this is it.
I'm looking forward to this. I might take a backseat for this one.
All right.
For me, okay, Titanfall wasn't perfect, and it wasn't.
Strong start.
It wasn't. It wasn't perfect. I actually had a lot of fun with Titanfall. And I did. And I think there were certain mechanics of that game that worked really well because wall running at the time was fairly new. There was a couple of games that had done it before, but in a first-person environment, not a huge amount. So vertical combat was something a little bit different for me. I remember an old Xbox 360 and PS3 game called Inversion, which again, I really enjoyed. I thought that was really cool and it was really different at the time. And Titanfall kind of felt a little bit like that, mixed in with a little bit of Vanquish. If you guys remember that. And again, it was just frantic, it was fast-paced, and you had these massive robots, you could call them. And these robots, you sort of called them in, you climbed into them, and then everybody would target you. And it was kind of like, I think Titanfall lost a bit of appeal for me with the Titans themselves, because every time you got into a Titan, you just became public enemy number one, and everybody just wanted to take you down. So I used to just drop my Titans in and just remote control them and let them walk around and decimate everything. But the things I think Titanfall got right was there was a system where you went online to play a game, and there was enemy AI-controlled bots that you could go around and farm kills from, which helped you build up your XP and build up your points in your game towards dropping your Titan in and some of your streaks and stuff like that. For me, that actually was a good thing because it's very daunting to go into a first-person shooter, especially one that's come out 6 months before, and go online because everybody else is just amazing at the game, and
you get hammered.
You just get absolutely destroyed, and it's very easy to then go, I'm not going to bother with that game. At the same time, as much as I enjoyed Titanfall, I only enjoyed it for a few weeks.
It's coming around to my side of the fence now. It's going to the dark side.
This is where you're going to make up now.
Yeah, it is. I'm not saying this is great,
I only enjoyed it for a few weeks. It got dull fairly quickly. I think after you got over the whole, like, oh my God, there's a massive robot coming into this world, it kind of lost a bit of appeal. The campaign, I want to put this politically correct, was absolutely shocking. On every
I'm doing this all psychically
level. How on earth you can expect to call it a single-player campaign when it's an entire online game is just beyond me. So Titanfall 2 needs to do something about that.
Definitely.
Because in order to get people into a game, and I don't know what you guys are like, whether you're the same as me, but for a game that's new, a new kind of franchise and a new style of game, I like to be able to go into a single player and get used to how the game works.
It's got to be different. There's a reason it's called campaign. There's a reason it's called multiplayer.
Correct.
It's got to be different.
Yeah, it has. It totally has.
Really straightforward. Titanfall. Boring. Again, all right, a bit like Destiny. I completely agree with you. You know, it's a big robot. It's a big ass robot. This is cool, right? Yeah. The minute you go into one of them, you're like, oh, I'm in a robot. Did you just not feel? You're pressing every button. There was no tactics to it for me. I was trying. Right, I defend that. Fire, massive rocket. Yeah,
it's a robot,
which is great. But I'm in a robot. Why is that little dude killing me? I can just squash him. It's just like, this is just not real enough. I know you can't have massive robots.
There is that element of Transformer. Little person in there,
Rocket.
You know.
Oh my God! I'm gonna
again, Michael Bay.
Because I didn't stick my shield hand up. It's like I'm just again so excited for it. And I remember speaking to my mates. I even spoke to my missus about it, and she was like, "You're really stoked about this," and I was like, "Yeah, I know." And then I thought, campaign, get used to it. I was like, "What is this? Why am I getting absolutely annihilated?"
How do I put it on easy?
Yeah, exactly. How do I get used to this? You know,
I've absolutely loved this section because I haven't had to do anything.
Sorry, mate.
It's been brilliant. Carry on. Okay, so Titanfall 2 is not on the list of favourite games that we're going to be looking for.
They've got to change it dramatically.
I think I'm more pumped than you are.
They've got to change it dramatically.
I'm actually looking forward to Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
I am.
I think I like the fact that it's coming to all platforms. I like the fact of no microtransactions. I also think they need to really go a bit more diverse in the weapons. They've got to sort out the whole. Here's a robot, we're going to shoot you. You know, they've got to really change it up. in that sense.
I don't want it to be massively tactical. I just don't want to feel like all I'm doing is a 9-year-old kid at an arcade hitting every button to try and stay alive and kill everything. That might be me as a person not being good enough at the game. But I just thought there's got to be more to this, and I never found it, even with all the add-ons and stuff like that. I get it. It's a great concept. It worked for me initially. I just got bored silly. I just got bored silly of it, and they've got to do something different for me.
Well, that was interesting, boys. Thanks.
So that was the most passionate I've been about something in ages.
Definitely. It was. You know what? I've known you a long time.
Sorry.
And even at your wedding, you weren't that passionate.
I know, But the missus did say boring, boring, boring for some reason.
Right. Still on my list was Gears of War 4 and Halo Wars 2, but we haven't got time. So that's how interested I am in both of those. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to have both of you.
It's been good fun.
Yeah.
Neil Murdoch, you've just released your new album for Blue Nation.
Yes,
where can they check you out?
On the website, bluenation.co.uk is probably the best way. Yeah.
Awesome. And if you want to check out Lee Hunt playing Modern Warfare 2, running around the favela, blowing shit up. Where do they go?
Or dying a lot. That's www.twitch.tv/EternalLeeHD.
Perfect. Right. So, guys, check them both out, and we'll be back next week with some awesome news. I've got some brand new trailers to show you as well. Keep it locked. News to Gamers.